Hey everybody, it's Jim. It is Monday. I am so excited to have you here with me for another exciting episode of Kitbashing. I am lucky once again. I have Luke. Luke, say hi.
Hi, and make sure you do not have your microphone muted.
Nope, it's not muted. Thank you, Luke. So some days I forget to do that in the very opening sequence. But today we're going to do something super cool today. Today we're going to build a model rocket. All right, model rockets are tons of fun. The goal of this is not just for me to build a model rocket with you today, but we're also going to have a competition where you get to build a model rocket, and if your model rocket is the winning model rocket, then you will win a fabulous prize or something like that. But anyway, I am Jim. With me, as I said, is Luke, and you are watching Kitbashing. All right, welcome back to Kitbashing. Again, this is Jim. I am your host of this fun, exciting adventure. And with me, as I said, is my son, Lucas. Lucas is my build apprentice. And so you will see him building things and sometimes dropping things. And as we work on this together. Luke, slide in closer a little bit because you're just a little bit out of frame. There we go. Yeah, this way, right here. There you go. All right, now we can see him. All right. So anyway, we got a really cool episode today. Today we are going to be building a model rocket. So this is something I've been waiting to do on this program. I wanted to get a couple weeks in so that our programming was kind of worked out and we worked out some of the glitches and bugs and things like that. And we got to do a really, really neat episode. And I wanted to start out this episode talking about something that I got a while back. Now, I am a nerd, and we know that this is true. There's no denying it. Now, I have several heroes who are not your conventional heroes, not like Superman or, Wonder Woman or whoever. A lot of my heroes are heroes in science and technology. And so people like Einstein and these other really famous names are people I think are really, really cool. Wernher von Braun, who is one of the people who helped get rocketry established here in the United States. So all of these really, really cool things. But one of the people that is one of my heroes is a guy by the name of Homer Hickam. Now, if you don't know who this guy is, if you have not seen the movie October Sky, I'm really, really sorry. Luke, we talked about this before the show, and you don't remember seeing this movie, even though I know we've watched it 100 times.
I must have been like 2.
It had to be more recent than that because I watch this movie about every 4 hours. I feel like it's like the movie gets over and then I start it again. But I watch this movie a ton, and so the premise of the film, though, I was telling Luke, is that it's these 4 individuals who are in high school and they want to build a rocket, and Homer sees the Sputnik passing by and he's like, oh wow, that's cool, everybody can see this, I want to do that. And so he starts out on this adventure to build a rocket. And so with that and with his friends in hand, they go about and first they mess up a lot of stuff and they destroy a lot of stuff, and then they get better and better. So anyway, one day I decided that I was going to send a letter, because now here I am, I'm teaching people. My job is to teach them science and STEM and to educate those minds, to excite them about this whole world of engineering and math and science out there. And so I sent him a letter and I explained what we did and said, hey, I would love it if you would send us something that I could show to my volunteers, my support, my supporters of the organization, and my youth who are here learning, because we work with these young minds. And I think his story especially is inspiring for youth who maybe come from troubled backgrounds and have a difficulty, because he came from a poor coal mining town. And so anyway, what happened was, after a while in the mail, I got this, and I knew instantly. I saw up here, if you look at the corner, there's Star Trek stamps. So that was my first indicator, and then the address on here was from Huntsville, Alabama, which was my second indicator. And I was like, okay, comes from Alabama. I know he lives in Alabama. Has Star Trek stamps, and it's attached to Made in Makerspace and says "Do not ban." I was so excited, and then when I opened it up, my excitement was validated because this is what we had inside it. And I didn't bring this with me this morning. It's at home, and I meant to bring the picture, but I was like, hey, I got a photo of it. So Homer sent us an autographed photo. He also wrote this very nice letter for our youth and for those who are going through the program. And I was just really, really touched by this. This, for me, was a huge, huge thing. And because that's one of my heroes. And when you get somebody who is a hero that writes back to you, A, and B, supports what you're doing by saying, keep it up to the kids that you're working with, that was really, really moving. Luke, who are some of your real world heroes? Like, not superheroes, but the ones you have in the real world.
Well,
I know I just asked a really loaded question.
Okay, so a lot of my friends, because without my friends there to help me in my class we do a lot of working with partners, and of course with this COVID-19 thing, we haven't been able to do partner work that much. Well, we haven't done it at all. But my friends have before this happened, my friends really helped me when I would get stuck in school. And another one of my heroes is my dog. He is very, whenever I'm sad, he always cheers me up. And his name is Titan. He's kind of a brownish yellow and white.
I know, I wish I had a picture to put on here, but you raised some really good points, Luke. Sometimes heroes aren't just these, big popular people that are a million miles away that you'll never meet in person. Sometimes a hero is a peer, is somebody who's the same age as you, maybe going through class, or maybe that hero isn't even a human. Maybe it's an animal like your dog, or some people, for some reason, like cats. I don't know. Maybe your hero is a pet that takes care of you and helps you through your anxious times when you are struggling or when you are sad. And so for those people who are heroes, I think we should all take time to make sure that they know that we appreciate them because they have done something in your life that is significant enough that you look up to them. So I wanted you to think about that. And today, we're going to get into building this rocket today. So I'm going to show you the list, and I'm going to move this out of the way. But here's everything that you're going to need from your maker kit to build along with us. Now, I'm going to say for the contest, I want you to build something not exactly this rocket, but build something a little different. Make it your own. But here's what you're going to need today. You're going to need tape. Now, you can use the gaff tape. I use that with this rocket. You can use the gaff tape that comes with the kit, but you can use any tape. And so for the build today, we're actually just going to use Scotch tape like you would have in your house. You need a large rubber band. You need 2 marbles. I've got them in this cup just so I don't lose my marbles, something that happens more often than you'd think. You need a paper clip. You're going to need the body of your pen, and if you didn't watch the episode where we built the rubber band-powered car, we'll show you again today how to get the pen body separated from the rest of the pen. You're going to need your string and some thumbtacks, and last but not least, some index cards. So if you have... I switched the camera to you, Luke. They're seeing you like half asleep. Luke's like half asleep today. I don't know what the deal is. But if you have all of those items right here on our desk, you can see this is what we need today to build a model rocket. Now, for the first part of this rocket example that we're going to build today, this rocket, we're actually going to guide it through the pen body on a string, and it will follow across. And this is just to make sure that this thing works great. For the competition part, so for the part that you, look, I'm pointing at you with the rocket nose. That's not a very good rocket nose. Look, it's got a hole in it. But for you at home who are going to compete with your rocket, you need to make a rocket that can also fly on its own. Now, this can fly on its own. I tested it before the show, and we'll show you probably, if I can get a camera angle that's good, today on the show, how this flies. And so we're going to have some options. But Luke, first of all, here's what I want you to do. If you look at my rocket, you're going to see a number of things. Now, the first thing I want you to see is that we took the pen body out, and this pen body is actually a guide. And what I mean by that is I'm going to slide this through here. Doop, doop, doop. And this takes a second to slide all the way through, but it's pretty easy because the string is small. All right, so this is just a guide so that when you're testing the rocket, you can hang it up on something and you've got a place to work with to deal with this. And what I actually did was I took this guide, and when I was testing this, I actually strung this up across the shop so that I had one end way over here on this side of the shop, one end way over on the other side of the shop, so I could actually fire this back and forth a few times.
Like a zip line?
Like kind of like a zip line, and it was a lot of fun. So let's go to the overhead, and so Luke, I'm going to have you start by taking this pen and getting the pen body out. Now,
hold on, I know.
Switch over here to this camera so people can see what you're doing. So first step, you need to you don't even need to do anything on that top part. Let me show you something. If you take that top part and you just pinch it, so if you just come in
here... But
here...
you said I don't have to do anything on the top part.
And just pinch it right here and twist that. I apologize, folks.
1 million people are calling you.
It's only one person, actually.
Oh.
It's somebody who called the Makerspace line, which I am not answering Makerspace calls during the show, I'm afraid, folks. But if you want to call me back, if you're watching the show, call me back in about 30 minutes and I will take your call. I've got a lot of calls, and a lot of them are calling because we're doing our personal protective equipment. So we're making all of these masks and shields and things for first responders and for nurses. Let me show you. Pass something over here, Luke. Pass that over here.
Wait, hold on. I think... Is it this blue part? Okay.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pinch right here on this big blue part, and then we're going to twist the pen apart. And I'm going to twist one side, and then I'm going to pull this whole body out. So I want you to try that now.
Wait, hold on.
Now pull it while you're twisting. It's not screwed on or anything, and that's just a good way to separate it. All right, good job. So now that side, you can just set that aside. We don't need that for right now. And you don't need the cap either, so you can put that aside. So put the cap aside.
Okay.
And then that.
Here,
All
I'll
right.
cover this so that it doesn't dry out when we're not using it.
It won't dry out. It'll be fine. So just set that aside. Now you need to get the end off of that cap. Now here's how you can do that. There's a couple different ways.
Oh, I know. I made this stick shorter and a couple of... Yeah, okay,
it's a little too wide though. So here's what you can do is here. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. One is to take one of these dowels like what we used last time. We just took one of these dowels, put that in, and then just push down on the desk. Put it on the desk.
Okay.
The dowel on the desk.
Oh.
So put it so the dowel is on the desk.
3,
and then
2.
You hold the pen body and then you push down, right?
I'm going to make it fire off like a rocket.
It won't. It will just get wedged in there. But it's okay. You can keep doing that. That's fine. You can hammer it. Just don't break it.
How hard is it?
This is kind of fun to watch, actually. Here, let me see that.
There we go.
Okay, you got it. Good job.
Is that how you got this on the...
On the other dowel? Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it gets stuck on the dowel, it takes a little wiggling to get out, but we can do that on another time because we have to get on to the next part. So, Luke, you have the pen body. Now we need to start making your actual rocket. So with our rocket, the body of our rocket here, if you read the competition rules, if you are going to compete for our fabulous prizes, by the way, those fabulous prizes will consist of a super cool customized button made with the button making machine you saw a few episodes back, as well as a DoorDash gift card, because who doesn't like DoorDash? I know right now we're not going out to eat. Restaurants have to come to us. And so if you're one of those people and you're using a service like DoorDash or Grubhub or one of those, they're really fantastic options to bring the food to you. So you can win that. Today, to your rocket for today's contest has to be at least 12 inches long. And I think mine, if I put it on the overhead camera and line it up on my grid, this actually comes to about 14 inches total. If I start at 1 and go all the way to the end, I'm at 14 right here. So that's pretty good. So what we're going to do to make it that length, and Luke, I'm going to hand these to you. So I want you to take an index card, and you're going to need some tape in a second here, and you're going to roll up your index card like so. So what we're doing is we're making the body, and our body for our rocket actually has 3 pieces.
I'm going to do them both at once because then I can like do 2 parts, so all rolled up at about the same length.
Okay, well
so
let's experiment with that and
have
see if it works.
Oh, you said it had 3 parts, so could I please have a third one?
Yep.
Okay.
Here, let me pass you a third one.
Okay. I just got this amazing idea.
We'll switch to the desk cam. There we go. All right, so what we have to do is we have to roll them up so that they're a long, skinny cylinder, and then when you're done with that long...
Wait, which way? Like this or this?
Like, see how I did it?
Oh, so you did it like this?
Yep. There you go. And so once you get those rolled up, you're going to use just a little bit of tape to hold the rocket body in a cone shape, or not a cone shape, wow, in a cylinder shape. Folks, geometry is not as hard as I make it sound. This is a cylinder. This is a cone. Seriously. All right, so going back to Lucas here. So you got that. Now you need to have them separate from each other, though, Luke.
Right.
So you probably can't have the tape on right now, unless you're trying just to hold it together.
Yeah, but I can... Nope, I don't think this is gonna work.
But you know what? You gave it the roll, which that's good. So you can give it the roll, and then what you can do is you can just take the other 2 and separate them out.
Yeah. So all I've got to do is slide. At least it's got kind of this shape.
Yep. And if you wanted to, you could tape all 3 together. So take 1, 2, 3 of your 3 that you've already got curled up part way. You could tape them together now here, like so, and then roll it all together and tape it up.
I know what I could do. So you said it had to be at least 12 inches long, right?
For the rockets that we're competing with, they need to be at least 12 inches long. And I keep saying rockets. Really, if you look up the definition of rocket, a rocket is a self-propelled craft that ignites its own fuel to go. This is not really it's a model of a rocket, and it's going to be propelled by the amazing powers of the potential energy of a rubber band.
Wait, rubber band powered? Oh, wait, did we do the rubber band powered helicopter yet?
No, we haven't done the rubber band powered helicopter yet, but that is coming up soon. If you like the rubber band powered car episode, and if you think the rocket that we're building today, which will be launched via rubber band, then the next one that we're going to do, I think, is going to be the rubber band helicopter, which should be lots of fun. If you want to see all of our previous builds, by the way, you should go to madenewOmaha.com/kitbashing. That is our website. We have this build will be on there, as well as all of our previous episodes will be listed. madenewOmaha.com/kitbashing. If you want to get the latest up-to-date things that are going on, you can also go to facebook.com/madenewOmaha. That is our Facebook page. We update that regularly. We're also on YouTube. And lastly, you can email us, kitbashing@madenewOmaha.com, if you got questions, comments. If you want to send us your entry for your build or a link to your YouTube video for your rocket taking off Those are some things that you can do. I'm going to go back to Luke now, and we're going to see what he is up to.
I need some tape.
You need some tape?
Yeah, it's going to take a bit of help here.
I'll tear a couple pieces off for you. You want to tape those together first?
Here. Yeah, you
got
these.
You can tape them on the outside if you want.
I just need you... Yeah, I'm doing the inside and outside. I need you to put the tape right here.
Right here? Okay. You could tape it while it's flat and then curl it if it makes it easier.
Oh. Okay, this is not working out.
Yeah, let's tape it while it's flat, and then you can curl it, because you've already given it a little bit of curl, and it's going to hold that memory pretty well.
Yeah.
The fun thing about kitbashing, folks, is that we do this live, so if you follow the episode, you'll be able to build this along with us, hopefully. And if you get stuck, you can always hit pause, you can go backwards, which is really good. But there's lots of options if you want to build along with us. And again, the first step is getting this body put together, because this is what we're going to attach our nose cone to. This is what we're going to attach our fins for guidance. And those really need to be pretty well designed, because my fins were not the best and my rocket kind of flounders a little bit.
Okay, could I please have the tape?
Here's another piece of tape. Here, we'll put one on the middle.
Okay.
And then you should be able to get here. There you go. Now
Then
try to make it as similar size throughout as you can. It doesn't need to be perfect, but we do want to make it as much of a cylinder as possible.
Oh, we're gonna need one over here. Mine is taking up a lot of tape.
That's okay, because sometimes
it takes a lot of tape to make a cylinder. It takes a lot of work,
yeah. And I made mine with the blue gaff tape because it's really easy to see the tape. And so when someone's looking at it and they're saying, oh, tape there and there and there, it's pretty obvious, but it doesn't make for a pretty rocket. So like using the clear Scotch tape, this is one of the reasons that we're using the clear Scotch tape, is because on Luke's, you can't really see the tape as well. And I mean, if you're looking at it in person up close, you'll see it, but comparatively speaking to this, it's totally different. Now, here's one other thing that you've got to be prepared for, Lucas, is that with our rocket for competition, you need to be able to carry a payload. So do you know what a payload is?
What?
Like, have you ever heard that term?
Oh, yeah. Like,
what is a payload?
A bunch of stuff or
a
something?
Payload, yeah, well, it's so a payload is literally whatever a craft is carrying. So whether that's the people in a car, or the lumber that you're carrying in your truck, or the spaceship that the rocket is taking up to space. Payload is what you're carrying. So today's payload is going to be 2 marbles. So Lucas, I'm going to show you on mine. I put my payload, I actually put it in the tail, and it wasn't quite perfect. I didn't really love that because it puts a lot of weight on the tail end, and it's not really well balanced.
So I'll put one on that end and one on that end.
That might be a better option, is to try to balance it out and see how that works. And maybe we'll even experiment. We'll launch mine with the weight towards the bottom of the rocket, and we'll launch yours with the weight more evenly distributed. Now, the one thing I would suggest doing, though, is if you can still get those out, you might want to put a little piece of tape on them. See how I taped my marble? So if you look at the overhead camera, you'll see I put a little piece of tape to hold my marbles, because again,
you don't want to lose them.
I don't want to lose my marbles. That's very important with this whole process. Is that if I lose my marbles, we're in a world of hurt.
Hey,
and
I got an idea.
It's just like real life. If a rocket launches and the spaceship falls off and the astronauts are in the spaceship, that's going to be a really bad day. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that SpaceX can write off as, oh, that was an experimental failure.
What
but
if
like
I
the
did
whole
this?
spaceship falling off, that would be a bad idea.
If I covered this with tape, then
you can, just don't pinch it too tight, because you're going to need it to be cylinder shaped for either the fins or the cone, depending on which end you're doing. So see how yours kind of got ovally?
so you don't want to have it
We don't want it to be too ovally.
So I'll have this part in the back.
So...
But this one is kind of like smaller up here, so I might want to...
Yeah, try to make it as cylindrical as possible. Again, for those of you who were not tuned in earlier on the episode, I see a couple newcomers to the stream. Cylinder, parallel sides, that shape, round and flat sides. A cone comes to a point where it should. My cone is really like a kindergarten cone, but I was trying to put this together very quickly so I could get the thumbnail. So we test everything that we build to make sure it actually works before we go to air. And when you're doing a daily episode, that means that a lot of times we might have 2 or 3 projects on my desk at the same time, and then all that stuff we have to clear out so that we can set up for one show, and then we bring it back. And so sometimes in my haste, I make stuff with really horrible stuff like that. But if it works, it gets to go on the show.
So
all right, so Luke, let's see what you got.
I'm going to make a cone next, right?
Yep, and so here's how to make the cone. Here's something that you're going to need to know is that a cone is really comes from more of a triangle shape. So we've got a square piece of material. We don't need that. Again, if you have scissors, that's a really cool way to do this. But what I like to do is if you take about, and it doesn't need to be perfect, but if you take about this much of an index card and you fold it over, and you fold it over again, so the reason we're folding it like that is because that crease is disrupting the fibers in the actual paper of the index card. And so now, once we've done that 2 or 3 times, we've got this nice weak point here. We've got this nice point of weakness where we can tear across it, and even though we're tearing, it's going to follow that crease pretty good. And mine wasn't perfect, but it followed it pretty good. And so this is going to be the start of our cone. Once you've got this done, the next step is to roll it into a cone shape. And to do that, remember this point is going to be our cone. And
like this?
Yep. And so what we're going to do is we have to roll this cone. So the top part, by your point, isn't going to roll very much at all, but the bottom is going to move quite a lot. And again, if you do this right, so the top with the point hardly moves. See how I've got this laid out? I'm going to unroll it again. So up here is the tippy tip top, and I'm going to roll it up, and there's going to be a little bit of trimming that you might have to do, but the bottom of this gets rolled a whole lot, and the top, basically, you don't roll at all. So you basically, what you'll end up with is something that's pointy on top and open on the bottom. Just like, you know, a cone in geometry.
For once, you got it right.
I was going to say this isn't rocket science, folks, but actually, it kind of is. All right. Luke, will you pass me a piece of tape? I'm going to put a piece of tape on my cone.
Yeah, can I please use that one? I kind of messed up.
Oh, no, I think... Let me see the tape. I'm going to pass you mine so you can see it, but I think yours is still salvageable. I want you to look at how I did it. And if you look at this, what you'll see is... There we go. There's going to be a little long tail here that I'm just going to tear it off because it's a little bit easier to tear off. But
do I curl it like this?
It almost meets so that the two edges, here, let me show you. Whoa. It almost meets. So Luke was asking, because his was kind of curling up wrong, you don't necessarily roll it flat like this. You actually almost want to roll it so that this long edge winds up meeting this edge. And if you do that, and you could actually almost fold it in place, where if this edge and this edge meet, look at the shape. It's almost a cone, right? So try rolling yours one more time, and if you absolutely can't do it, then I'll let you use mine.
Well, then
But
also you've
cheating.
probably picked it too hard. build.
I never pick a too hard build. I believe in you, and I believe in my viewers. You guys can build this, and if it takes a little bit of work, that's perseverance. That's what we've talked about before. Now, while Luke's working on his cone, I'm going to shift gears, and I'm going to show you guys the next step for launching your actual rocket. We have a paper clip, and we have a rubber band. And to make the launcher for your rubber band powered rocket model, all you do is you string your rubber band on your paper clip, and if you didn't see how I did that, you've got to go 2 loops. So here's your paper clip. I go in on one, and we go all the way down. Then we go around and we go into the other side so that the open side on the outside of your paper clip is pointing towards the rubber band. And so this will allow us to pull the rocket back, and when we let go, it will launch. All right? So that's how that works. So you've got that. Now, Lucas, let me go over to the Luke cam so you can see what you're doing. You've almost got that cone put together, right? Just about. The fun of doing a live program. I've got somebody dropping off a donation outside. I can see them while I'm here. Hi, Jane. Anyway, getting back to work. So we have our launcher. Luke is working on his cone. While he's doing that, we're going to talk about how to make the fins. So the fins for this rocket are pretty awesome.
I can't get this the right size.
You can't get it the right size? Let's see. Take this, take this. Hey, this is not bad. This is not bad. So we kind of... Here, trade it out for this. We're just going to use this. That was fine. So again, if you tape this cone so that your ends line up, so that that triangle we made, so that the edge of the triangle, the flat end on the flat end meet up, you get almost exactly the right cone. And then, now this is a little bit big. This cone is now a little bit large for this rocket, but that is not a problem. Can you pass me a long piece of tape, Luke?
Okay, how long?
4 inches or so.
Would this be good enough?
That's like 1.5 inches. I could take it.
Like this?
Yeah, that will make that work. All right. So we're going to take Luke's cone and his rocket, and we're going to put the two together and wrap it around like so. Luke, can I have one more piece of tape? I think I'm going to need it.
How long?
About the same length as that last one.
1, 2, 3, 4. About 4 inches.
All right, and I'm actually going to just reinforce our body just a little bit here. I just don't want anything to fall apart. Now, here's the next step for this is, Luke, I want you, see where I taped mine? Now, I taped mine to kind of get the center of balance. I want you to tape your guiding.
That's what I was thinking. Your center of balance is about right here.
It's way in the back because of
the marbles.
The marbles, and you can find the center of balance. Here's a really cool fact, and we haven't put the tail on Luke's yet, but here's something really cool: is that on most objects, if you want to find the center of balance, you can just put your 2 fingers out, and as you draw your fingers together, they will meet at the center of balance point. And this is a little bit bumpy. It kind of catches us in a couple spots, but it still works. Where if I bring my fingers out, will it still work? Because once, yeah, it does. Where your 2 fingers come together, that's where your center of balance is going to be on something. And you can do this with a broom. You can actually do this with a lot of things. So Luke's center of balance is right here. So Lucas, I want you to put yours kind of on the center of balance. And actually, just to show off, I happen to have behind me this giant push broom. Same thing. If you take your 2 fingers while you're doing that, I'm going to take my fingers, and the funny thing is the center of balance, because of this push broom is a push broom and it's super heavy, the center of balance is right around right around there. But now I'm balancing this entire push broom on 2 fingers because I am on the center of balance, which is right here. And so I have a perfectly balanced push broom right there that it's so well balanced there that I can hold it on my one thumb. Oh, hey, Bristles. That's how you find the center of balance on any cylindrical object out there. Very cool, right? All right. So, Luke, how goes the process? And you probably want to use great big old long pieces of tape, and you don't want to let the tape go over the back of your blue pen cap or the back of your blue pen because you got to make sure you can get string and stuff through.
I can at least get it through here, but it might stick to there, so yeah.
You might. But get a big long piece of tape that you can wrap around like the rocket a whole time.
Oh, like that?
Okay, that works. Now, while Luke's doing that, I'm going to show you guys, because we've got about 5 minutes left before we're done here. I'm going to show you guys how to make really easy guidance fins for your rocket. So here's a piece of index card that I have left over. And all we're going to do is we're going to line this up. Now, the reason that you have guidance fins, Luke, do you know why that we have these on there? The fins on a rocket?
I remember doing this in Cub Scouts. It was so that, I thought it was like to keep its balance or something.
So not necessarily balance, but stability. Because as your rocket travels through the air...
That's what I meant.
These fins, what they do is they stick up into the air, and it's almost like, you know, if you had air was imagine air instead of being something like this that is nothing, imagine it's like fingers. And so here's my fingers, here's the air. As the fins pass through, the air kind of hold them in place. And so those give the rocket a little bit of stability. All right, Luke, how's that going?
Good.
Let's see what you got on the
This
camera.
rocket.
All right, cool. So, now I took my piece of paper and I folded it back and I made the first fold, which I really like. This is about the right shape for my rocket fin. And I'm going to just fold it a couple times. We're going to tear along the fins and very carefully, because this is where we're going to tear it. Now, if you wanted to, you could leave a little paper on the edge as a tab. I don't want to do that, so I won't do that. It's my show, and I'll do what I want. Right? Something like that. Now, here's the cool thing, is that angle that you just made for your fin, you actually will have a second one ready to go right here, because they are... I'm going to switch over here so I can borrow this. Again, we're doing geometry again. When you're talking about an angle, if you tear off something at one angle, now all of a sudden that angle has been reversed on whatever's left over. So I can just flip this over from here. I flip it over, and now I have that exact same angle. So I've got 2 fins that are the exact same angle. And all we're going to do is we are going to tear another one out, and I don't even need to actually even have this here, as long as I fold this flat along where the edge is. And I'm going to make sure that I got it right, because, you know, it's nice to double check, and I was just a little shy. And depending on how much of your piece you use for your triangle, you should have enough to do this. And so I'm going to fold this back, and so here's fin number 2. And then last but not least, I'm going to make one last fin. Yep, right here. And that's fin number 3. All right, cool. So I'm going to fold these. And Luke, while I'm doing this last fin, I'm going to pass these to you. And now, if you look at your fins, I don't think you got a lot of sleep last night, did you?
Well, actually, I got more sleep than usual. And the more you sleep, the more tired you are.
Oh, I see.
I got like 11 hours of sleep last night. I was like, oh, actually, maybe it was just, I think it was actually just 10 and a half, because I woke up in the middle of the night freezing, so I curled up in a ball and covered my whole body under a heavy-weighted blanket.
Nice. So here's what you want to do. On your fins, Luke, I want you to attach your fins to your rocket. Now I want you to roughly divide your rocket into thirds. So 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So 3 equal sections. And each one of those is where the rocket will attach. You want to attach the part that has the 90-degree angle. So if you look at your triangle, this is your fin, you'll see that one of your angles should be 90 degrees. That's the angle that you want to attach to your rocket. Now, you could attach the other one, but it's kind of a weird shape. And the nice thing about this is if you get these on there and you tape them on really good, it also gives it a nice platform that it can stand on. So if you wanted to stand it straight up so it looks super cool like a rocket ready to launch. So the 90-degree angles are the ones you should tape it to. And Luke, you got one on there and it looks really good so far. Let's go over here to the desk cam. My horrible desk cam. One day I'll get a real camera for this.
Why do you say terrible?
Well, because this desk cam sometimes has issues focusing, and I don't like that.
Isn't that like the same type that I use to record my videos?
It's similar. It's a little bit different. Yours is a bigger one.
Oh.
It's actually nicer.
So you give me the nicer one?
Yeah, because I love you that much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So get those other two on. Now, here's the next part, is that there's going to be a couple ways to test this. The first is to take your string and to run this across your room. And so go to some place. Now, very important, make sure that this is okay with whoever owns your house, be that your parents, your landlords, your cousin, whoever it is. But what you're going to want to do, and if they don't want you to stick a thumbtack in a wall, then what you can do is you can stick it like in a piece of furniture or something that's got a hard point. But you're going to stick this thumbtack through the rope, and this is actually mason twine, so it will hold you can stick it through. It won't come unraveled or anything as long as you give yourself about this much, 1.5 inches, like 1.5 knuckles. Go and take this and pop this in the wall someplace, and I'm going to do that right now. Watch this. I'm going to knock over a broom. There it is. All right.
Here, I need to put up one more fin, but
There's the fin. So, step 2 is that you are going to load your string through this guide. Now, this is just to test your rocket. You can actually fly it without this string. But so we got the test. We've got that. Now, this is how we launch it. You take your paper clip, slide it through, and I'm going to hold it with my hand that's got the string. Actually, what I should do, where's that other paper clip? Haha. This is where I'm going to be smart.
Could we hang mine?
Yeah, we can hang yours. Is it ready to go?
Uh-huh.
All right, let's load it up. Load it through there. So we're going to have Luke string his up, and we should be ready to go. I don't know if we can see. Oh, yeah, we can see Luke on the overhead camera. All right. So I'm going to take this, and again, you can stick it through the string. And I hope I've got this about right, because I did try to measure this before. Nope, I didn't quite get it right. We're going to go here. And then what we're going to do, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, so here's Luke's rocket. Now, here's how you launch it. If you remember from earlier, when we made our launcher, it's just a paper clip with a simple rubber band attached to it. Now I'm going to hold this like that. We're going to pull the rubber band. And so this rubber band's got a lot of potential energy. And when we pull it backwards, we're putting tension on it. And when I let go,
whoa,
it disappears.
Do it again.
He wants me to do it again. So here's your rocket. Now, here's the thing: is that this is really just a test. This is to get it ready. If you're going to do the contest, which if you do the contest, you can win a gift card. That'll be so awesome. You're not going to want to do this on the string. You're going to want to actually launch this. So I'm holding the launcher. I'm actually holding both ends of the launcher. I'm holding the paperclip part and I'm holding the rubber band. And as soon as I let go, it's going to launch this. And the cool thing is that because this is not permanently attached to my rocket, this just flings off and it stays in my hand while the rocket goes flying. 1, 2, 3, bye.
That one was not
cool,
really
right?
fast.
So here's the next step is we're going to take this off the string.
Oh, you got it in... Oh, I thought you got it in the cup. From where I was, it looks like it was in the cup.
There we go.
But it's an illusion.
So here is the competition. You must build a rocket. Give me a piece of tape, Luke. You must build a rocket. Your rocket, here's the thing, is it must last one flight. And so...
it looks like it's buffering.
That's fine. It does that. It's okay. All right. So... you must last one flight. And with this rocket, you also must not lose your payload, so you can't lose your marbles. But it should be able to, and I need to see the actual video of this happening, but you should be able to take it, hold it back, and with any luck, launch it.
Whoa!
And it should go flying. I want to see the video. The best rocket design is going to win a DoorDash gift card on Monday the 20th. That's 1 week from now. So get yourselves to the website. Send us an email. If you send it to kitbashing@madenewOmaha.com, send me your rocket. I want to see pictures. I want to see videos.
Send it to what that says right there.
Kitbashing@madenewOmaha.com is how you will get that. Also, I invite you to go to our website, madenewOmaha.com/kitbashing, and that has all of our builds, including this build, listed on it. It also will have other fun stuff, instructions. If you want to buy a kit, you can do that there, and there will be other things you can do. And lastly, Facebook.com/madenewOmaha is how you can get hold of us for our daily updates and all the fun stuff that we do here, including tallies of all the PPE that we're making for first responders. Super, super cool stuff. Again, I'm going to put that email up one more time, kitbashing@madenewOmaha.com. That is our email address. If you send any submissions for this contest too, we will get those, and it will be fantastic. So I am once again your host, Jim, and with me today is my build apprentice, Lucas.
Who is half asleep today.
And you've been watching Kit Bashing. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time for another fantastic build that you can do.